Hi.
Soul Calibur 2!
Yes, Soul Calibur 2. This is really the only fighting game of this style that I played when I was younger. For the specific reason that the GameCube version had Link in it, who it even says right at the back, is a special guest appearing exclusively on the Nintendo GameCube. Because Soul Calibur used to do a cool little thing where depending on the console that you would get, would depend which guest character you got. Kind of like how in Pokemon, depending on which Pokemon game you got, depending on which rare or legendary Pokemon you would run into. And today I want to go over the guest characters, all of them, because they actually have some pretty cool ones. They have some lame ones, but they have, like I just said, some pretty cool ones. And there are even a couple of characters that were supposed to be in these games that didn't end up getting into these games because of whatever reasons. We'll talk about a couple of those. I'm trying not to be biased here. My favorite would be Soul Calibur 2 because of Link. He plays pretty much exactly like you'd think he would, using the classic Master Sword, Hylia Shield. And he is not without his assortment of weapons. He can use bombs, his arrows, his boomerang. When he throws it at you, if you dodge, it can still hit you on the way back. He's got a kick. Some would say he's pretty overpowered. I would probably agree because he's so versatile, and he's one of the first characters that has a range attack, because that's just not really a thing in that game, or wasn't until him. He would have been one of the first to use projectiles in the Soul Calibur series, along with another guest character who would have been on the Xbox, Spawn. And yes, it is Spawn from the comic book series created by Todd McFarlane, and he created another character for Soul Calibur 2, Necrid, which is kind of cool, a little fun fact. So maybe as a thank you, they added Spawn. I don't really know what the reasoning behind that was, but Spawn's still pretty cool. His moveset though is kind of weird. Well, Spawn has like a cape that is just an extension of him, and it kind of just does whatever his brain wants it to do. It can take on the form of any weapon that he wants, and he decides to use an axe. So he has like short range to mid range attacks. And because his cape is an axe, you don't really see his cape as a cape. And that's such a cool part of Spawn, is the cape. Like whenever you think of Spawn, you think of that cool cape like looming over him, and he doesn't really have it at all. He just has these weird boots, and one is way bigger than the other, and it drives me somewhat insane. But he can also levitate for like a full 2 seconds, and he can throw fireballs. So that's where the other projectiles come in, because he can throw fireballs at you. I would say he's also a pretty cool character all together. I think he's pretty unique in his fighting style. We're gonna give him 8 out of 10. Link, we're giving 10 out of 10. We're just gonna I'll back that up. Link, we're giving 10 out of 10. My fave, my guy, my boy. Spawn will give 8 out of 10, but I think if he was in a new Soul Calibur game, they would use his cape. Like his cape would be utilized more. That's what I think. Now we have the final Soul Calibur 2 guest character for the PlayStation, which is a Tekken character whose name I cannot pronounce.
Exclusively on PlayStation 2, Tekken's Heihachi unleashes his rage.
Alright, no blades for you then.
But there's really not that much to say about him. He's kind of boring, because he just uses his fists. It just doesn't suit very well in a series that everyone uses weapons, you know what I mean? I think he has gauntlets or whatever at some point, but it's not that exciting. So, and I'm not really a Tekken guy, so I'm gonna give him like a 3, because he still looks cool, but that's literally all he does for me. And also depending on which version of the game, so if you got the GameCube version, then in the intro, Link would be in the intro. If you got the PlayStation version, the Tekken guy would be in the intro. If you got the Spawn version, Spawn would be in the intro on the Xbox. Small details. It's the little things that matter. I think that's pretty cool.
Soul Calibur 3.
Doesn't really have guest characters. They kind of do. Really the only one is Cosmos. I think that's how you say it. It's a combat droid from the Xenosaga series. What I mean by, not really guest characters, because they don't have their own background. They don't have their own moveset. And by background, I mean like every guest character has a reason why they got into, the Soul Calibur universe. How they got there. This character doesn't have that, but she is the first guest character to just be purely cosmetic. You have to basically acquire, they're called like type X parts, and you can acquire them and put them on certain characters to make it look like you're Kamos. Let's just call her Kamos. Yeah. And there's also one of the final bosses, Abyss. Kind of a fun, I guess, note is this character only is in Soul Calibur 3, first and last appearance. And Abyss is an altered form of another character whose name I don't know how to pronounce, but his weapon is available to that character in Soul Calibur 4. That's kind of a nod to him. So that would be a fun segue to Soul Calibur 4, except there was a Soul Calibur game before that on the Wii.
Soul Calibur Legends.
And that game does not have, I never played it, does not have, wait, no, I did play it. And I do remember playing that game slightly, and it just did not, it was on the Wii, Soul Calibur on the Wii with the motion controls, like it just did not work. And the way they say Soul Calibur Legends just doesn't hit it really for me. It doesn't sound quite right.
Soul Calibur Legends.
No, not that one.
Soul Calibur Legends.
No, not that one either.
Soul Calibur Legends.
No, not that one either.
Soul Calibur Legends.
No, not that one either.
Soul Calibur Legends.
But it does have Tales of Symphonia characters, Lloyd Irving. And Soul Calibur Legends is weird because it's not a fighting game, it's an adventure game. So you're like running around doing stuff instead of actually just fighting one-on-one combat. But in doing that, they were able to make his character close enough to, you know, the source material of his original character, so fighting styles and such. But yeah, technically not a Soul Calibur fighting game.
Soul Calibur 4.
Now, Soul Calibur 4 is where some shit gets real. I really like the guest characters in 4. I like the whole theme that they go with, because there is definitely a theme that is with Soul Calibur 4. Because basically they're all Star Wars characters, except for Angol Fear, who we can get out of the way kind of right now, because he basically just has the same moveset as another character, who I'm going to try to pronounce here. Seong Mina. Is that how you say it? Yeah, they have the same moveset. So there's one right there. But we'll start with the Xbox 360, which is green. So who else is green? Star Wars, green. Yoda, duh. But yeah, Yoda's green, Xbox green, therefore Yoda's on Xbox, bam. And Yoda, I remember Yoda being a piece of shit because he's so tiny. He has such a tiny hitbox and he can jump around and do a ton of damage. He still has lightsaber powers and use the Force, of course. And yeah, he's very agile. So Yoda is definitely fun to play as, but not really fun to play against. Therefore, we're going to give Yoda a 7 out of 10 for being a piece of shit, but you can be a piece of shit as well. So there's an upside. Also, Yoda can't be grabbed and he's banned. I'm reading now that he's banned in most tournaments and the community generally hates him. So that's fun. Now, the PlayStation 3 exclusive, some would say, you know, the opposite of green is red. If the Xbox got the good guy, then the PlayStation needs the bad guy. And who's the bad guy? Well, none other than Darth Vader. And honestly, he suits so well because he's like a, you know, a one-on-one duelist. He's one of the best in the game, like in Star Wars, but also in the game. Yeah, he is a brute who deals a lot of damage and can take a lot of damage. And unlike Yoda, Darth Vader will use the Force like in attacks, where Yoda just uses it to jump around and stuff. Yeah, Darth Vader can use the choke. You can use the Force choke. He has like a critical finish. And along with the choke, he can like pick up enemies with the Force and use that to attack them. You just hold them up there and just like fucking attack them. But he is Darth Vader, so he is pretty slow. So that's one of his bigger letdowns. I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10 because I just can't stop thinking about his lightsaber, how it would cut through like everything. But it's a video game, so who cares? But I just keep thinking about it. And finally, if you beat story mode with Darth Vader on the PlayStation and Yoda on the Xbox, your final boss would be none other than Starkiller. Or maybe you were expecting more of an iconic character. Would have been cool, maybe like Obi-Wan or something, but I think Starkiller does fit very well. And this actually was Starkiller's first appearance, like before he even appeared in The Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed came out a couple months later. It's his first appearance as a Star Wars character. I think that's kind of cool. Kind of funny that it's in Soul Calibur and not in Star Wars, but they came out a couple months away, so a couple months apart. So very fittingly, he is a mix between Yoda and Darth Vader, where he's, you know, very aggressive like Darth Vader, but he's extremely fast like Yoda. He has a very terrible Force lightning, but he picks that up with being able to levitate and just absolutely annihilate his opponents by using that. So that's like his upside. He can levitate, downside his cool move, which is lightning sucks. I give Starkiller an 8 out of 10 just because he's pretty cool. And he's got, I like the mix of play styles there. Not a great character, not a terrible character, but a very cool character. This one doesn't even say Soul Calibur at the beginning, it just does the little shiny thing. Extremely disappointed, 0 out of 10. But this game does have the God of War himself, Kratos, and he kicks ass. He's pretty much just like in his own games, where he's kind of slow, but he's got really good range with his Blades of Olympus, or Blades of Athena, or Blades of Chaos. I'm not really sure which ones they are in this game. But because of that, he's got some short range attacks, he's got some long range attacks, and he's got moves that can easily combo enemies on the ground. They obviously had to get the Blade of Olympus in there with his critical finish, where he uses that to strike his enemy down. And he definitely still yells a lot, so that's always good. I miss the original voice actor sometimes. That guy really killed it.
You are mine! Behold the power of the god! Now you!
Another cool thing about the Ghost of Sparta is that his fighting style would then go on to be the basis for the Lizard Man fighting style in Soul Calibur 5 with his like double axe thing. So he used Kratos fighting style as like the mold for the, you know, character in Soul Calibur 5, which I think is really cool. So for that, he will get a 9 out of 10 because he is extremely badass. He influenced another character, but he be slow.
Soul Calibur 5.
Well, they would have 3 guest characters, but really only 1 guest character, because the 2 other guest characters are just costumes. One would be Devil Jin, which like the Cosmos character in Soul Calibur 3, you have to unlock this character through character parts. But unlike that character, Devil Jin has his own fighting style, which is called Tempered Fists. So he's just like another fist character like that. He doesn't use a weapon, doesn't need a weapon. Namco Bandai producer also appears as a bonus character, and he has the exact same moveset as Devil Jin. But that's kind of cool, I guess. Is the actual guest character Ezio Auditore. Like, Ezio is definitely a really cool character. He's extremely versatile. He has a sword for like mid-range attacks. He's got his twin assassin blades for close-up attacks. He's got a hidden gun, which is obviously for mid to long range. He's got a crossbow, which is mid to long range. And the crossbow, you can actually make someone ring out. Like if you hit someone on the edge of the ring or platform and it hits them, it causes knockback. So you can just ring someone out. Like that's just crazy that he can do that with this crossbow. And he also has another close range weapon as a dagger. So he's got a lot of weapons to choose from. I think he fits into the series so well because of his versatility. The only thing is he's more of a jack of all trades. You know, he's not exactly the best at any of these. He's just really good at all of them. So he doesn't I guess excel in any of these specific regions. For that he will also get a 9 out of 10, but he is just so cool, and I almost think he would fit better in
Soul Calibur 6.
Ezio would have fit in there real nice. Mainly because I think having Ezio and Geralt from Witcher 3, well, the Witcher games, wouldn't that be such a cool fight to see?
Come on, let's do this.
Soul Calibur 6 has a crazy character creation, so you're really able, depending on your imagination, your creativity, you're really able to get whoever you want into this game. You know, the guest character list technically is endless. If you really wanted to get, you know, King DDD, then you would be able to do that in some way or another. But that doesn't mean this game doesn't have real guest characters. Like I had mentioned before, Geralt of Riviera is on the cover of this game as one of the main, if not the main guest character of this game. So they really went to town on this character design, like a lot. Like he really does play like from The Witcher 3, but he's able to use both of his longswords with School of the Wolf fighting style. He also can still use his signs and still set shit on fire. You can use his telekinetic blasts, traps, and shield, and he generally just looks awesome in the game. They got the original motion cap actor to be there to supervise all the motion cap stuff when doing Soul Calibur, so that they could make it as close to the character as possible, make it as true to The Witcher 3.
Our role was making sure that Geralt in Soul Calibur 6 moves, feels, and plays like Geralt from The Witcher 3. When he fights, he's always confident, very focused on here and now. We even asked the original motion capture actor to supervise motion capture recordings for the Geralt in Soul Calibur.
This is the first time he's ever been shown outside of the Witcher franchise, because though they wanted to do it right, and they definitely did. Another 9 out of 10.
Damn, place is just plain strange.
It took this long for them to get a full guest female character. If you look at the other guest female characters in the other games, they're just costumes, or they're not, you know, they don't have a backstory, their own fighting style. But in this one, the first one introduced very fittingly from the Nier series, 2B. And with 2B actually comes 2P, which is just a costume which you can unlock so that you can use either version. So that's pretty cool. There's another character, Kane, from the original Nier that can also be like partially recreated due to the inclusion of some of her outfits. So 2B is a pretty awesome character. She's the first completely female and downloadable guest character, so she's just a DLC. Now, like her game series, 2B has like lots of weapons to choose from, which she still has access to. Just depends on what she can materialize. So she's able to materialize a katana, an odachi, combat bracers, and a lance or a spear. She has 3 different stances: aggression shift, aerial leap, and angular stance. And the only thing about this is if you overcommit with one of your stances, it can open you up to very strong punishment. But her 3 different stances make her very unpredictable, extremely versatile, and when she's in her aggressive shift, like, she's way stronger. She also has this stock mechanic called analysis points, like she has AP points that are only obtained by landing successful unarmed strikes, basically by kicking. And these points can be carried over to the next round. Yeah, altogether I think 2B is pretty cool. The community didn't exactly receive her being in the game. It seems pretty mixed as her reception, but I think she's pretty cool. I'm gonna give her like a strong 8 out of 10. They also give her little pod friend there. Her pod robot buddy hangs around with her, so that's pretty cool. She's got other characters with her because of the skins, so that's always fun. Versatility is great.
We will continue to fight until our day of reckoning comes.
Now we got the main character from Samurai Showdown.
Aomaru.
And then another character from the same game can also, like, it's a costume for that character. So this character can be added on top of that character. So it's like you get 2 characters from Samurai Showdown instead of 1, except 1 is just a skin. Now this guy's got a ton of stuff with him. He's got projectiles. He's got a really heavy slash. He can deflect like blades and stuff. Also, he has a rage function, which is always good. Basically, when he falls below 30% health, or if you hit, apparently he has a 14 attack slash combo, which is insane. So if you do the 14 attack combo or if he's below 30% health, he'll go into his rage mode. And most of his special moves become more powered up. They have little altered versions, and he has a new critical edge. Basically, when he's raged, he gets a bunch of new stuff. That's the ability, essentially. So one of his best strengths is that he's got a great backstep. And honestly, he's like an extremely basic character, even though he kind of does have a lot to him in terms of like strengths, weaknesses, some unique mechanics. Like he has terrible wall combos. Without his rage element, like it's very hard to mount a comeback with this character. And you're very reliant on big reads. You really got to have foresight with this guy. Him, I'll give like a 7 for versatility aspects, and he does seem kind of cool.
Remember the name Haomaru in the afterlife.
Now, there are other characters that have been included after the fact, but they're reoccurring characters from the past that have come back now as DLC, like Amy and Cassandra that are now back. But we're not going to end it there because that's kind of a boring character to end it on. So let's end it on some speculations. So Dante is a big want for Soul Calibur, but apparently Dante was going to be in either Soul Calibur 2 or Soul Calibur 3 because the rumor is that Devil May Cry 3 used the same engine as Soul Calibur. So in exchange, like for a boss fight, I guess they used the same engine. So in exchange, they were going to let Soul Calibur use Dante in either Soul Calibur 2 or Soul Calibur 3, but that obviously did not happen. Another rumor that seems more confirmed is actually Bayonetta. It seems that her attacks were too elaborate, which doesn't make any sense because I think they have like Valdo or whatever, that guy who can like bend over and do all that crazy stuff, and I feel like they could use that skeleton almost to make Bayonetta's characters because she's very like acrobatic and when the way she fights and guns on her heels. Maybe that's what they were worried about. I don't know. I thought Bayonetta would be a good ad, but they got her in Smash. So speaking of Smash, that leads to the other character that was rumored who is in Smash, Cloud Strife. So Cloud Strife was supposed to be the PS2 exclusive character, which would have been sick and honestly would have made way more sense. That just would have made more sense to me if the exclusive characters for Soul Calibur 2 were Link, Cloud, and Spawn. Well, Spawn would have been a little bit of an odd man out there, but I just feel like that makes more sense. But it's good to get a Tekken rep in there. I feel like they're in the same genre of games, so it all kind of makes sense. But I guess my highest rated character for actual characters who were added would be Link, but that's completely biased on my fact. I do think that Ezio Auditore is like the coolest ad, and it just fits so well. I don't know. I think him in Soul Calibur makes so much sense. Same with Gerald, however the fuck you say his name. So those are probably my favorite. Honestly, there are a lot of really good ads. I think the whole Star Wars thing for Soul Calibur 4, the whole theme there was just very clever. But yeah, that is it. Those are all of the characters rumored and not rumored. Soul Calibur 6, you can pretty much make whoever you want with the character creation, so you can kind of go wild there. For me, these are the best parts of Soul Calibur are the guest characters. Without that, for me, there's no appeal to the series other than the main. Like, that's the only reason why I have this game is because I'm obsessed with this little twink right here. I mean, Link. So hopefully Street Fighter 6 gets some more official guest characters. I think maybe they need some to revive the series a little bit, because I think Soul Calibur is a little bit dead in the water, I think, right now, right? I don't know. That's for another video. If you like more talking videos, we got a Vinland Saga, trend in video games that I hate, and what I think is the most underrated God of War game. Please subscribe and like. They're both free and very easy to do if you like what you see. If you could add one character to Soul Calibur, who would it be? Let me know down below. But until next time, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Goodbye.